Hello, you. It's me. And can you believe the audacity of this woman? I was watching Night Convos, which I do every evening. They post almost every evening, like 90% of the time. And I was enjoying the video, and then this comes up. This apparently, Gypsy decided that even though she's supposed to be taking a 30-day hiatus, she had to post this. And the post is, I get everything I want. Wasn't that just lovely? I mean, literally the audacity of this person who has done so much damage and has hurt so many people. And this is what she has to say. But that's not everything that she had to say. This is the other thing that she had to say. Almost off parole. Again, the audacity. This woman has been shown to be a horrible person, the way that she treated Ryan, the way that she's been treating Ken, how terrible she is with her own child, baby Aurora. And this is like a threat. Almost off parole. And in fact, she had made some threats. It sounded like threats. When she said, well, I can't do much right now because you got me by the short and curlies, but you best believe when I'm off parole. It's like, well, what does that mean, Gypsy? What are you going to do? Are you going to go and murder a bunch of more people? Or have your minions do it for you? I mean, what does that even mean? And I'm sorry, but that whole thing about what she said to Ryan, you punch hard, I'll punch 10 times harder. That sounds like a threat too. Why is she not being hauled in for these things? Now, I honestly thought after that ridiculous quote-unquote apology that maybe her parole officer came down and said, hey, you got to stop this shit. Get off the internet for a while. I honestly thought that was the reason why she was taking that little, detox. Just because her parole officer said, you're getting carried away. Calm down. Get offline for a while. I really thought that was the reason why. But a few days later, boom, here she is. Oh, well, I always get what I want. And boom, almost off parole. These, to me, are like mild threats. She's telling people, hey, look, I'm going to be free. I'm going to be able to move and do what I want to do. Watch out. That's what it sounds like to me. Does anyone else think that way? Because this is how she talks. It's either, boo-hoo, I'm so abused, I'm a victim. Or, you better watch out because I'm going to get you when I'm off parole. This woman is insane. I can't believe that she's saying these things so close to getting off parole. Does her PO officer not see this? This is crazy. Any other quote-unquote murderess or murderer, if they were going to say, you watch out, when I'm off parole, you better watch your back. That's what it sounds like to me. Isn't that a threat? Shouldn't she get pulled in for that? Is she? Obviously, we don't see what happens between her and her parole officer, okay? We don't watch that stuff. But I feel like she's going over the line. Now, I am not a parole officer, but there are rules that you have to follow. Which ones did she follow? I mean, I guess she's asked permission to, go fly around the nation. I don't know too many people on parole who can do that. She can, quote unquote, her work is being online and her books that she didn't write and all of the TV shows that seem to be full of so much bullshit. I mean, she tells on herself. Her stories change with every show, with every book, with every interview. Her stories change constantly. There's never, I can't think of a single story that she's told the same way twice. Now, I've told stories more than one time, many stories that I've told. And maybe I've used a word different or went into more detail with one thing than another. But the story is still the same. It's still the same story. I don't think she's ever told the same story twice. Does her parole officer pay attention to any of this? Now, I know parole officers are probably overworked, have I don't even know how many parolees that they handle. She's only one of many. She's just the more infamous one because she's had all these TV shows and documentaries and books and interviews. I've never seen somebody who committed such a heinous crime be out in the public like they're a superstar. The star's starting to fade now. People are becoming a lot less interested because they see her for who she is. They may not see everything, but oh my God, the Lifetime show, first she was the victim, then she's playing all these men. I mean, and we know of Ken and we know of Ryan, but are there more? Because apparently there were hundreds of guys while she was in prison. It wasn't just Ken. It wasn't just some Italian guy. It wasn't just Ryan. There were tons of guys writing to her. Tons of them, apparently. I don't know if that's true or not. That's alleged. But I certainly wouldn't put it past her. She uses people, uses them up and spits them out like they don't mean anything, like they're just garbage. People don't mean anything to her. They only mean something to her while she can use them. And then when she's done using them, they are nothing unless she needs them again. That's what she did to Ryan. We saw that firsthand. And I have a feeling that it's probably going to go that way with Ken too. She's already setting it up that way. I mean, how can she call Ken her love, the love of her life, while she's still talking to Ryan and holding him, stringing him along, saying, oh, well, you just never know what could happen. You're my comfort, Ryan. It's disgusting, honestly. And I don't usually get into the love relationships because, again, I don't care. But it is showing her character, who she is as a person, and how untrustworthy she is. That Ken, supposing to be the love of her life, she's lying to him. She's hiding the fact that she was talking with Ryan. And again, Ryan didn't even have to show the text messages because the show itself, Life After Lockup, showed how much she was texting him. So she's playing these guys. She seems very dangerous when it comes to being with Aurora, the daughter, the baby. They're still debating on whether the baby is still Ken's or could it be Ryan's because the baby was born at 6 pounds 5 ounces. That, to me, is a full-term baby. When I was born, I was 6 pounds 9 ounces. That's a full-term baby. them saying that the baby was born, maybe the baby was born early. I don't know. But it seems to me that's a full-term child, especially with the size of Gypsy only being 4'11". It makes sense that the baby would be 6 pounds 5 ounces. I swore that they said the baby was 5 pounds 1 ounce. Could have sworn they said that. 5 pounds 4 ounces. Could have sworn they said that too. But it said on the birth certificate that they showed, I believe it was on the show, that Aurora, the baby, was born at 6 pounds 5 ounces. That's a full-term baby, in my opinion. I could be wrong. And once again, the paternity of the father isn't something that I care much about. It's all the lies. It's all the deceit. And with Gypsy, she's fine 1 minute, threatening, well, you punch me, I'll punch you 10 times harder. And then she's crying, oh, me, because you were so terrible to me. Like, a typical narcissist. And now she's back again with, I get whatever I want, almost off parole. What is she saying? And why is not the parole officer paying attention? I find it, I don't know, I find it a little nerve-wracking. It's a little weird. And I don't see them do anything about it. I mean, do Christy and Rod have that much money that they can own the police and own that part of the state, that they can get people to lie, cheat, and get away with stuff? Is it her connection, Gypsy's connection to Christy and Rod, that allows her to get away with all of this? Is there some kind of connection there? Because it just seems unreal. It seems that sweetheart plea deal that she got, how did she get that? Because if she had gone to trial, it would have been very obvious very quickly that she masterminded the whole thing, had it planned for years. And she's not in prison for life? That doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. And her threats, her mild threats, whatever you want to call them, about her getting what she wants, she's almost off parole, it's true. She has gotten the sweetheart deal. I just don't understand how more and more people see it. We see the lies. We know she wasn't abused. We know she murdered her mother in cold blood. She planned it for years. It wasn't to get away from an abuser. She was the abuser. Gypsy was the abuser. So how is she getting away with this? How much money needs to be spent for a murderer to get off so easily? To get away with parole violations? Just the fact that she said what she did about Ryan, whether it's true or not, about medication he may or may not take, that's a federal offense. How did that not land her back in prison? So many questions, so few answers. But really, what kind of shenanigans are going on? I think we need to push that out, push that question out, because maybe it'll force the hand of the parole officer to do some justice here. Because it's not being done right now. And it's kind of gross to watch. I know I'm never going to step in Louisiana. That's for sure. I mean, I live in Los Angeles, and I think that Louisiana is corrupt. Think about that for a moment. Anyway, I hope you had a lovely evening, a lovely day, whenever you're hearing this. Thank you very much for subscribing. New subscribers, old subscribers, love you all. Please make lots and lots of comments, because it just makes my day to hear your ideas and viewpoints. And that is all I've got to say.